Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. We're going to talk about the death of Azaria Chamberlain, also known as "A Dingo Ate My Baby." This happened back in 1980 in the Australian outback at a place now it's called Uluru. It's Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, Ayers Rock. It's a campground in the middle of nowhere. I mean, look, here's a picture of her and the kid. This baby, right? See how they are literally in the middle of nowhere. It's like they're in the Nevada desert, Australian outback. There's no one around, you know what I mean? So that's where she died. Now, so this little baby, right, was only about 2 months old. And she was murdered. And it ended up being an international story. Okay, the American press was fascinated with this because this woman right here, the mother, her name was Lindy. Lindy and Michael Chamberlain were the parents. Lindy said that sometime in the night they were in a tent and a dingo, so a dog and a wild dog in the outback, came and stole her baby away. Okay, now there's an issue here that I ran up against. They didn't find any remains of this kid. They never recovered the body. They never recovered anything. Okay? They never recovered booties, shoes, a dress, nothing. They never recovered this child's body. Now, for an entire human baby to be eaten by dogs and not have anything left over, no bones, no skull, nothing, is impossible. So I won't waste your time. I'll just talk about this real quick because there's so much here. I don't even know what's important. All I know is Marina Abramovic was at this place. Okay, she was in the Australian outback with that Urulu guy, her German art buddy, right? Husband, partner, whatever you want to call him. They were there. What are the odds, right? What are the odds? This is literally from the New York Times, 1986, from the archives under Art People, written by Douglas C. McGill. Their names are Ulay and Marina, and their art is to sit at a table opposite each other for 7 hours at a stretch. The piece is titled Night Sea Crossing. It's one of dozens of performances, videotapes, and photographs that Ulay and Marina have made during their 10-year partnership. They share the same birth date. They have individual art careers. This piece, though, Night Sea Crossing, where they sit across at a table and they stare at each other for 7 hours at a time, provides a far more sanguine metaphor for human relationships. The genesis of this piece, which Marina Abramovic and Ulay have performed 85 times around the world, was a year-long trip to the Australian desert in 1980. During that year, they camped near Ayers Rock. Azaria Chamberlain, this 2-month-old baby, was killed on August 17th, 1980 at Ayers Rock. What are the odds of that? Okay, now I'll just run this down. This lady was found guilty. Cops were like, there's no way a dog would snatch your baby and we wouldn't recover anything. They searched all night. They even got an Aboriginal tracker. So the people that go out in the outback and they track animals, right, out in the desert, they got an Aboriginal tracker and didn't find them, right? Didn't find the baby that night. Remember, they got an Aboriginal tracker to go find the baby. It's in here somewhere. I'm not going to bother. Just take my word for it. That's what happened. This is that project they're talking about, Night Sea Crossing, performed between 1981 and 1986. And that's the picture. See, he's in a red jumpsuit and she's in a black dress. Get it? This is what they were up to. So this is the whole thing. There's the painting in the background I showed you with him in the red jumpsuit, red and black. Red and black. And in the middle of this table, they put something here. And this is what they put. I'll zoom in for you. This is what they put on the table. It is an Aboriginal Remember the Aboriginal tracker that went to go find the baby? It's an Aboriginal boomerang with gold encrusting on it, a bunch of gold they found out in the desert supposedly, with a snake, with a live boa snake on top of it. A snake on the boomerang, sitting in the middle of this art thing they did. And I think it is so that they can sit here and they can stare at each other for 7 hours a time with that boomerang in the middle of the table, and they can put that between them and they can share this experience. I think that's what this art piece is all about. I think this art piece is all about sharing the experience of murdering this baby. In the Aboriginal tracker, all this is hearsay. This is just my opinion. I don't have any proof, right? I have no proof of this. What are the odds, though, that one of the biggest murder stories, baby murder stories in the world, in the history of the world, happened at this place called Ayers Rock, and at the exact moment that murder was happening, it just so happened that one of the most evil women on the planet was getting her career started. Aboriginal boomerang shows up in this, the red and black. Got it. No big deal. I'm going to keep moving on here. If you want to hear about this, if you want to get Hollywood's take on this subject, you can go watch Evil Angels. It's a film from 1988. It stars none other than, guess who? Meryl Streep. Okay, now I dug and dug and dug and dug and dug. I cannot find a picture of Meryl Streep and Marina Abramovic in the same picture. And I don't know why. It's almost like they've steered clear of each other because they know the same people. They're both in pictures with Hillary Clinton, right? They both run in Hollywood. And the crazy part is that Meryl Streep's husband, his name is Don Gummer. I bet you didn't know that. And Don Gummer is a highly paid, big deal artist, painter, and sculptor. And they go to these art galas, right? And then like 1 week, they'll have an art gala where Don Gummer goes to it in New York City. And then the very next week, or the week before it, Marina Abramovic will have a gala at the same museum. So I know these people know each other. And I think the connection is between the artist husband from Meryl Streep, her husband named Don Gummer, who's an artist, and he runs in the same circles Marina runs in. And it's weird that Meryl Streep wouldn't be in any of those pictures at like the spirit cooking stuff or the body, where they chop the body cake up and they consume the human body, right? It's just weird that Meryl Streep would never be at any of those places. I found that odd. But Don Gummer is plugged in, man. He's an artist, painter, and sculptor, so don't forget that. Here's Marina, just in case you didn't know who she was. I'm not going to show you the satanic stuff, right? It's kind of no point at this point, but I just want to show you that, like, they involve kids. Like, they're all about involving kids in these things. Just here's some pictures. Like I said, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find them together. She's all into snakes. I mean, this is the lead witch on the planet. Marina Abramovic, Meryl Streep, and Hillary Clinton are the lead witches. That is who they are. More weird stuff with kids. I don't understand why all these people are standing around. Why is this interesting? Why is this a thing? What is she doing to this kid? Right? What are they doing? Are they connecting? He doesn't seem too happy to be there. This isn't the only one either. They set up that same table with the boomerang in the middle, and they put a kid on the other side. This is just a picture. I mean, it's something she does. I just want to point this out. Remember, this is the art exhibit that showcases all of it. Okay? Red and black, with the Aboriginal boomerang in the middle with a snake over it. Okay, now I make a big deal out of it because who dresses their kid in black and red? I don't know anybody. I've never seen a human being dress a child in a black dress with red ribbons and red shoes. There's the red shoes again, man. This is on the National Museum of Australia. This is a government website, so I'd say this is fairly trustworthy. Okay, so it says that the night baby Azaria Chamberlain was taken from a tent at Ulay, resulted in one of the biggest legal and media events in Australia in the 1980s. Now, the mother was eventually cleared for connection with the disappearance, but not before she served 3 years of prison for murder. I'm telling you, this lady did it. I'm positive she did it. So people brought up, like, why would you dress your kid in black with red shoes? That looks like kind of sacrificial stuff. You know, people caught this back in the 80s. And the lady says that this is a repurposed dress that she made for her son, and that's the reason why she has it. Can't make it up. It's like the worst excuse in the world. So I'll drop this in there. Okay, she later got divorced, and she was a member of the Seventh-day Adventists. I don't know much about them, right? But they were religious people. They were religious people. Here's talking about it. It says, she says, for Azaria's 6-week checkup, both of us were dressed in our matching black and red outfits. It was the first time I had ever taken her out publicly in a little black cotton dress I had made for Reagan, and it had caused quite a bit of comment. People either loved it or hated it. This is her son. She made it for a boy. She made a black dress for a boy. That's her excuse for this? It doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think? Now, the interesting part, I want to get this in there real quick. They did, it's in here somewhere. I can find it. Oh, let me drop this in there. If you go look up Azaria, Azaria just happens to be a moshav in central Israel. Serious. The moshav, called Azaria, was established on the land of the depopulated Palestinian village Al-Beria in 1949 by 25 families from Jerusalem as part of the From the City to the Village plan. If you think that Israel's telling the truth when they say that we don't run settlements, they were doing it the moment they got it. The moment the Rothschilds got Israel in 1949, they immediately started doing this. They depopulated all the Palestinians, and then they sent 25 families from Jerusalem in there to set up shop. And this one is called Azaria. And I've never heard a little baby named Azaria. Died at 2 months old, in the middle of the outback, with Marina Abramovic on site, and she was wearing a black dress with red booties. Not at the time of her murder. It was just, this is what was showcased as part of her clothing. So I'll just get to the point. Okay, I'm pretty sure Lindy and Marina Abramovic murdered this baby. And I'm pretty sure that she had been set up as a sacrifice before Marina went to Ayers Rock. I imagine this was set up before they even went to Australia. And I think that that's why they met up there. That's why this all happened. They blamed it on the dingo because it's an area where they already had dingo problems. But no one was ever killed by a dingo, and no child was ever taken. They said they caught a dingo trying to grab a kid out of a car seat one time, right? Like 2 weeks earlier. And that's how they got away with this. So the authorities weren't fooled initially, and Lindy went to prison. Now, the reason why she got out, check this out. The reason why she got out of jail was because they convicted her. They knew that she was guilty. And I imagine people like Marina Abramovic have high-placed people who can get things done. So they never recovered anything from the body. They never recovered any clothes. They never got the skull back. I'm telling you, a lion on the Great Plains of Africa can't eat a human skull. So there was a lion attack 2 weeks ago where 3 poachers died. They were eaten by lions, and all they found was their shoes and their skulls. So animals cannot eat that skull, even a baby skull. I don't care how strong that dingo is. He's not a pit bull. You know what I'm saying? So you would still find the baby skull somewhere. There would be remains. There would be something somewhere, right? Nothing showed up. So once this lady goes to jail, she went to prison. They exhausted all of her appeals, and they figured out this chick was going to be in prison for life. Lo and behold, one of the bloody garments from the baby shows up at the site at Ayers Rock. It's just laying out in the open. I'll have to do a part 2 to this because there's more here. But they found someone saved a trophy. Someone saved a bloody piece of article of clothing from that baby as a trophy. They had it for 3 years, and whenever her appeals were up, Lindy's appeals were up, they went back out to Ayers Rock, and they dropped it in the open so someone could find it. Now, there was no dingo saliva found on that article of clothing. No dingo saliva and no dingo DNA. And dogs eat with their mouths. So you tell me how that works. Anyway, she's out. She's walking around. They made a movie about her life. This is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.